Canva presents a work love story like no other. Meet Productivity. She's all business.
The Canva doc is done.
Creativity is more of a free thinker.
Whiteboard brainstorm.
They're worlds apart, but sometimes opposites attract. Thanks to Canva.
The data is in the deck.
And now it's an animated graph.
Canva, where productivity meets creativity. Now showing on computer screens everywhere. Love your work at canva.com.
BTW, FYI. Visit Nexplanon.com RN to learn about Nexplanon. It's an adjustral implant, 68 milligrams radiopaque. Or ask your HCP IRL. Okay, TTYL.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes on go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Welcome to a new episode of See You Next Tuesday. And just like we promised last week, we're back on this Tuesday. This show, in case you're new, is us sharing the results of the votes that we placed regarding last week's But Am I Wrong? Well, before we get into that, I have something new to share with you.
Please.
And before I share it, I guess what your reaction is going to be. Megan, take your headphones off. Now close your eyes. Melissa, you're fucking insane.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
So I've started a new habit this week, and it's been working out great for me.
This is going to be really fucking stupid. Tell me what it is.
It's not stupid. It's brilliant.
Oh, God. It's going to be really great.
It's going to be brilliant.
Okay.
So, you know how I've been sleeping
I knew this had to do with fucking sleep.
Mm-hmm. I've been sleeping I've been sleeping, but my schedule has been off. So I've been getting 8 hours, but
just not the right 8 hours.
Or at the correct time and day. So what I've started doing is I wake up at 4 a.m.
You're a fucking lunatic. For what? For what? But for what?
At 4 a.m., I wake up, dilly-dally, and play Monopoly Go for 30 minutes.
No. Okay, it's crazy to wake up at 4 a.m. and then say,
I got time to wake up.
But usually people wake up at 4 a.m., they go, and then I get in a cold plunge, I immediately hop out of bed, I go on a run, you go, I'm playing Monopoly Go for 30 minutes.
I'm playing Monopoly Go. And then I check emails from 4:30 to 5. Then from 5 to 5:30, I journal. But I call it rage journaling. I'm just writing down everything I'm pissed about, and then it leaves. And then 5:30 to 6, I eat breakfast.
And then you go back to bed.
Nope. 6 to 8, I work out.
Then you go back to bed.
Nope. And then if it's Monday, I'm recording Unhinged and Immoral at 8. And then I shower. Or if it's not Monday, then I shower.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do my work for the day. And I'm done.
You're napping at 4.
I'm not napping. I'm done at 5:30. I then make dinner, which I haven't been making full dinner. Watch my soaps, and I go to sleep at 9 p.m.
What?
Yep. 9 p.m.
Okay. I'm so excited for us to go to Denny's to get the early bird special, you senior citizen. This is an assisted living schedule.
This is working so well for me.
Oh my God. If anyone's new here, Melissa gets on these kids. And she will do this religiously. 3 months is me being incredibly generous for how long she will stick with this. And then it will be
fine.
So I haven't, and that's fine because we all need new exciting things to help us get out of bed in the morning.
I need things, and I have been so unmotivated for the last 2 months, pretty much. And the thing is I'll just be up late, but I naturally want to be up at 4 o'clock. And so I was like, instead of me like
staying up,
then let me just wake up. And you know what another thing is? I'm waking up before the alarm goes off.
Oh yeah, this is like one of those testing your body.
Yes.
Your body is like, this is what I need.
Yes.
You know what you definitely were? You were definitely like one of those what do they call it? Because like, you know, everyone gets like sorted into like what their like early human like roles were. And people say that people with ADHD were, I think they say we were gatherers because it was like we can hyper focus and like find little things or whatever. You would have been the lookout. You would have been like I am here. I'm incredibly aware of my surroundings. I am awake at the time.
I wouldn't be good at that.
You're not aware of your surroundings? No. Well, hey, evolution got you here, baby. So somehow those skills were there. But like those are the people they talk about who have those like wonky schedules like that. You know, I'm happy for you. It is crazy because we went from I'm starting a writing class at 8 a.m. so I have to be.
It was 6 a.m.
No, initially you were Melissa,
No.
you initially wanted to start the one at 8 a.m.
Oh yes, but then I was like, it would mess up with my
So then you said
work
immediately
schedule.
Actually, I'll just do the 6 a.m. For me,
Yeah.
I would have needed weeks to mull over that issue. So when I talked to you, you were like, yeah, I'm going to do an 8 a.m. And then you go, psych, I'm actually doing 6 a.m. and I'm actually leading it. And I was like, holy shit. To now, I'm actually waking up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. And it's
These
been
are
working
leaps.
incredibly well for me. And the thing is, I had it in my mind because I was like, I like there's just something about 4 a.m. that's like just resonated with me.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to an Issa Rae interview and she said she wakes up at 4 a.m. And I was like, I mean, she has pretty much, besides the acting, she has pretty much the career that I want. Yeah. So like, maybe I should try what she does. And that's what she
Do you think she still does that?
The interview was like a couple weeks ago.
No, I was just asking.
Yeah.
Because I have to say, if I was Issa Rae level of successful at this point, I would sleep in.
No.
Maybe till 5:30.
She says on Saturdays she might sleep until like 7.
I used to be one of those people. I will say, I don't think this is like, I understand where you're coming from because like for me, if I have to like catch a flight and I have to be up early, like I'm on it. Like I am not like I'm not like I can wake up at
I also just don't go to sleep. That's my thing.
Well, I also think that I never get into a full REM cycle because I'm so stressed and my body is like on edge. But like I can wake up at like any time. Like I'm not someone who's like, oh my God, I'm a total zombie. Like I can have my morning routine and like I can also survive on like very little sleep. It's not good, but like I can. But I've always like when I used to like work out every day, like pre-pandemic, like I like when I'm on set, like if I have like an 8 a.m. call time and I'm at like I have the first 6 a.m. workout and I'm up at like 4:30 or like 5 a.m. Like I am so good at that. Like I crush that. And it does give you a whole other fucking level of motivation.
Yeah.
Though I will say this is a level of dedication that I do not have because doing that while not leaving my home for like, I have to go to a thing that I've booked very early in the morning. I would struggle.
I do leave to go to the track.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have an appointment
you don't have
to be there.
Yeah. You don't have a late fee.
Mm-hmm.
But I, you know what? You're fucking crazy, but I'm
not tired. Like, look, like this is the first time in a while I've gotten on the mic and I haven't said I was tired.
So maybe this is what I need to start doing.
Maybe.
Maybe. I will say it would be objectively crazy for me to just like pop my meds at like 5. Because I'm like, oh shit. I would have to make Mats adjust his schedule with me because I would never see the guy. Like I would literally never see him. Mm-hmm. And we wouldn't be able to watch Incredibles 2, which is what we did last night.
Yeah.
Wow. I love the little kicks you get on.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see how long it lasts. But right now, I feel exceptional.
Anything to me is better than the dehydrating phase.
Yeah. I've actually like done so much work. And I haven't done work lately.
I've always found that I'm the most creatively productive when nobody else is working or awake because I won't get caught up in like emails or responding to things. Like I don't feel like I'm wasting the time where I should be communicating with other people, like whatever. I got most of my book written, like either in like the early morning or like very late at night. But typically, like I do find that like getting shit done before everyone else is getting shit done in the morning, it helps.
It's more so for me because I'm not the only thing I'm doing like early before most people are doing stuff is like work related is checking my email. But then I don't check it again till the end of the day. The thing is for my workouts, because I'm usually doing that at night and I'm so super tired going into that. And I've been skipping a lot because I'm like, I don't have, you should be asleep. You should not be working out, which I will prioritize sleep
it's
than working
far
out,
better
which
for
you're
you.
supposed to do. But like getting that out the way in the morning and then like, I think
coasting on those endorphins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I've always said like if I didn't work out before like 11 a.m., there's no shot I was going to work out.
And there were times where I was doing like an afternoon workout and then I'm just tired and I just want to go to sleep.
No, I think if you do it after like the afternoon slump, like, and for me, the afternoon slump, depending on the time I wake up, my afternoon slump can hit me. Bitch, what was that?
Just, those things that used to be hanging on the wall.
Oh, I do.
They just felt like they were just on the shelf and just fell off the shelf.
So even when they're not hung, they're still trying to get to the floor.
Well, the thing is, I was looking for my AK scrapbook that I had because I deleted Facebook. So I don't have any of my photos that would have been on Facebook. And so I was looking for my scrapbook and I can't find it, even though I saw it some point recently, and I really just was like going around tearing things up. So
turning your apartment into a crime scene, which is
I don't have an apartment, but yeah.
You're living. Melissa, I called everything an apartment. Sometimes I still call this place an apartment. Must goes, not an apartment. We have a mortgage, and I go, damn, you're right.
Some people in like New York have an apartment and have a mortgage, but
that's true. I remember the first time you ever called like the last place I lived in. You called it like a condo, and I was like, "Isn't it an apartment?" And you were like, "No, bitch, that's not an apartment." And I was like, "Oh." To me, I go, everything is an apartment because that's where you live. But maybe you're inspiring me. Maybe this is like what I need to do. But at the same time, I'm also wondering if I wonder if I just like slept and like didn't feel an obligation to like wake up at a certain time, like how long would I sleep for? And like would that help me feel better?
That's the point that I was at for the last 2 months. It was like, if I didn't have anything scheduled with this after Tuesday, Wednesday, and a lot of Fridays, one day I woke up at 1 p.m. Meghan. So
I think my body, like, I don't know if I need that though. Like, does my body need that? I just don't know. If only there was a sleep study that was effective for people who can't sleep, because they need you to sleep for the sleep study. But unfortunately, I'm not going to sleep if my sleep is being studied.
Especially with me, like, I would have to, 1, wear clothes. Can't do that.
No.
2, there's things touching me.
Even if I do it at home, I can't even sleep. Like we said, I can't sleep before a fucking flight.
No.
Like, I didn't poop before Disneyland because I just knew I was going to Disney. Like,
I've tried doing
my body would suck.
The ones on the phone. Like, I even can't do that.
Like, hello, I'm trying to fall asleep.
No, the sleep ones where they, like, the app where it lets you know, like,
oh,
you started snoring here, or like that messes me up.
Yeah. So like even a take-home sleep test, I just wish the fact that like my deep aversion to an at-home sleep test, because I'm telling you I wouldn't be able to sleep, is that not diagnostic criteria enough for like us to figure something out? Because like I don't think I would be shocked if I'm sleeping well.
Yeah.
Did you end up on that side of TikTok where they were like, these are the like stressed sleeping positions. If you're sleeping like this, like your body is stressed. And I was like,
I can't control that. Okay?
Also,
like,
how else are you fucking supposed to sleep?
Right.
They showed every sleep position.
The other day, I had this vision of myself.
Almost like a prophecy?
Like I was in bed and then I was kind of like above myself, looking down at myself.
Oh,
and I was like,
This is getting. Did you have any gummies beforehand?
No.
Oh, I don't like this, by the way.
No.
I'm just telling
And
you right
then
now, I'm not a fan of this.
I was just kind of like, Melissa, if you roll over and lie on your back, which I never do, and just let your arms out, then you will have some great sleep. And then I did it.
Okay, so that's what we call
And
a
I went to
mind-body
sleep.
connection. Your mind said, do this to your body. And you said, who said that?
Right.
Okay.
As I'm floating over my body, like looking at myself.
Yeah, so that's called just like, your inner monologue, your dialogue, for sure. I love that. I love that for you. You know what's crazy? Is that like, I'm like so unaware about like how I sleep, because like prior to being with Mott's, like the person who has like seen me sleep the most is like friends who like fucking talk in their sleep. They fall asleep so much more before me. They're just like, we have different sleep schedules. So like they're not like,
don't have good bed, Kim.
No, and they're not looking at me. I mean, we had fine bed, but like, I'd wake up and they'd be gone and they say breakfast is ready, and I'd be wonderful, because but like they fell asleep way before me, and then they're like a spring out of bed, jump out of bed kind of person. So they're not like seeing me sleep. And Mott sometimes will we switch off between who wakes up earlier and who falls asleep first.
Pictures of you
while I'm sleeping in these positions. And sometimes I'll wake up to him like moving me and being like, I just don't think there's any way that this is like comfortable. But it started with like one day I was like, damn, like my shoulder hurts. And he was like, well, duh. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, you know how you sleep. And I was like, how do I sleep? What's that? Turns out I fall asleep on my side every night. And I wanted to switch to being a back sleeper because it's better for your allergies. It's better for like everything. If I end up falling asleep on my side and I sleep the whole night, I wake up, cannot breathe out of one side of my nose.
Literally how I fall asleep most nights unless I have a prophecy of myself. At one point I still have it. It's in the closet. I have that like big U like pregnancy pillow. But then I was like, I don't like this touching me. It's like, I don't know. I actually need everything touching me while I'm asleep. I can't. But I like my blanket wrapped tightly around me. But it was just something about the way that it's shaped and the way
also,
it was
by the way,
me.
If I was naked, I wouldn't want that touching me either. Like, that's just like too fucking intimate. Like, yeah. Like, my cooch is out. Like, and I sleep with a pillow between my legs. I cannot fucking imagine doing that with like a pregnancy pillow while naked. By the way, I just feel like in general, you know me, I don't like to have my holes uncovered. So like, I do think that like I'm opening up my holes a little bit more.
Not uncovered. Exactly.
I need that. They can be claimed, but I don't want anyone taking stake in them already. But he shows me this photo of me sleeping. Melissa, I sleep with both of my hands over my head like this every night. And I was like, every night? And now I will wake up and I'll notice it, because he's like, he has since for like in the last, like, I would say like year, stopped moving my arms down, because he's like, you're not sleeping well. Like your sleep hasn't been as great. So like, I want to make sure you stay asleep. So it seems to be working. So I'm not moving your arms. But for years, I always wondered why when I woke up, my shoulders were a little sore.
Samantha also sleeps like that, and she threw her shoulder out. Yeah. And I sent her pictures of babies, and I said, you see, babies sleep like this, but you see that their arms stop where their head is because their arms are so little.
Also, both Samantha and I have long...
Y'all are both lanky people. You are too damn long to be
our arms are
sleeping
folding
with your
over
arm.
twice.
Yes, you're too damn long to be sleeping with your arms like that.
No. And like,
I sleep like this.
Yep. It is
because
crazy.
My hands are cold. But like, I sleep like this, and that hurts my shoulder. So just imagining having my tits out with my arms above my head.
You're fucking trapped engaged for the entire night. Like the entire night. You cannot fucking relax your shoulders. And that paired with, if I know when I wake up in the morning, if both my arms are above my head and my bonnet has slipped over to cover my eyes, I literally wake up and I go, what year is it?
That feels like the best sleep ever.
No, it is. It is
I also cannot.
Objectively the best sleep.
I can't sleep with bonnets on my head. Like that. I just don't like stuff on me like that.
You can sleep with your ears out? I can't sleep with my
but my
ears
head's
out.
under my covers.
Okay.
So my ears are out, but they're not really out. My head's under the covers. Like my blanket is tightly over.
How the fuck do you breathe?
So I make a little hole.
Did you have your inhaler in that cave?
No. I just make a little hole in the blanket, and then like the air circulation comes out.
So you get the cold air from outside just for the breath.
Yep.
Well,
but it's not like either of us are having the best sleep ever.
No, we're both constantly trying to figure out ways, and also both of us saying we definitely need sleep studies, but there's no way to get accurate information other than the information will be like, yeah, not well, bitch, not well.
Right.
Like, do we need a sleep apnea machine?
My mom has one.
I think my dad probably needs one, but then I
don't think I have sleep apnea though, because I'm not like waking up.
No, but you might not know. So apparently with women in general, women like are silent snorers. So like you don't necessarily, not everyone.
I snore, okay, but it's not a.
So for me, I know that like I toss and I turn in my sleep. So I don't remember it, but like I'm
in the same spot. Rolling
over and doing whatever. Yeah, if you wake up, I fall asleep on my side every night. Every night I wake up. 2 arms over my head. Sometimes my bonnet goes over my nose, and then when I wake up, I start panicking because I do think I'm dying. But there's nothing fucking better. And you know I desperately need sleep when I go to sleep and I pull it down and I go, I want lights out.
My problem is I have to pee so much. So that's my issue.
No, that is a big
issue. I'm getting up to piss.
I can't do that. Also because I don't need to do that, but
also,
I'd be so
a lot
mad.
of times when I was getting up to piss, it was 4 a.m. Now it's my natural wake up call.
Now that's my morning piss time, and it's good morning to me and my piss.
Yes.
Someone commented on my my video of my piss joke.
I forgot we're getting back to
and they were like, women don't say the word piss. That is so tacky. And now I go out of my way to make sure I say the word piss because I'm like, I'm so sorry. I actually didn't know that we weren't saying this word. I need to hold up the representation.
Where were they from?
I don't know. Facebook. Ohio.
I forgot that it went viral on
No,
Facebook.
Melissa, it has gone on all sides of it. And I have to say, I have yet to like get used to seeing brand new followers every single day saying so-and-so followed you from your reel. And it's from the piss jug reel. And it's just like a man, and his profile is just photos of him and his wife and their children. And then his comments are like, let me chug that piss straight from the source, golden tap, baby. And I'm like, your account is public and your wife followed. Like, what?
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow, grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm.
Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved Chief Resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse, only on Netflix.
Hello and welcome. Wait,
We're here.
we never said a hello.
Yeah, we did. I gave a whole spiel. I said, welcome to See You Next Tuesday. I 100% did.
Here's the thing.
Because
I believe you. I'm just concerned about my cognitive ability for fully forgetting that happened.
Yep.
It's alarming sometimes.
It was funny because even in this Don't Blame Me, you were like, I didn't give the Don't Blame Me that came out today. You're like, I didn't give the address and phone number. And I was like, yeah, you did. And you're like, no, I didn't. And so you redid it, but you had done it.
Oh my God. Maybe I don't need a cardiologist. I need a neurologist. Someone help me with my brain. Maybe I need to wake up at 4 a.m. Maybe that's the solution.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the votes now.
For episode 138. First up, Meghan says thin people shouldn't have opinion on how plus-size people handle their platform. 4% said I was wrong. 96% said I was not wrong. The way that my fucking feed has still been flooded with these absolutely insane takes. I saw someone say... I
haven't seen anything about it.
Oh, it's crazy. I saw someone say that influencers are a business and therefore their followers are like shareholders and they owe it to their business. And you know who said that? A man. And I said, you as a man are saying that I am entitled... I have a shareholder in this woman, specifically her body. What?
Why are you in women's business to begin with?
Get the fuck out. Like, truly get the fuck out. Like, get the fuck out of here. But it is crazy seeing it. And you know, you also might not be seeing it. I saw a comment from Cammie on, because I've seen like, I did not initially end up, I think the first video I saw was from Lex, who's friends with Mecca and Jamila, who I followed forever, who I showed you her videos like years ago.
Yeah, I follow her too.
Love her. And the first video I saw was of her talking about the commentary she had been seeing. And from there, I started seeing white women talk about it. And I recently saw Cammie commented on, I can't remember exactly whose post it was, but Cammie commenting being like, the only people who I've seen who have commented this with like rational takes are black women. Like, she's like, every time I see a white woman or white person, anytime I see a man talking about it, but like anytime I see a white person talking about this, no, because it's just, so you're very lucky to avoid, because it is, and to open the comments, I'm literally like, you are all so wildly and deeply unwell. And they want to blame her being like, well, you know, people could develop eating disorders from this behavior. I'm like, she has an eating disorder. She said she has an eating disorder. Like, this whole thing of being like,
her alone.
Quite literally, and or continue on her ass. Pick a different fucking reason. Mm-hmm. Pick a different reason. That is fine. Okay. So someone said, Meghan is not wrong, in all caps. Straight to the point, and I love that. Someone else said, as a fat person, I wholeheartedly agree. Thin people say these things when it does nothing to affect them except make them feel threatened, because all they want is for fat people to stay fat so that they can hate us and tell us that we're disgusting, but then get angry at us when our body changes. In their minds, quote unquote, for the better. When in reality, there's nothing inherently positive or negative about body size. Oops, sorry for the rant. Do not apologize. That is exactly what it is. Because again, it's like, I saw someone who like had a commentary on it of like people who claim like, oh my God, just like losing weight is like so easy. But then being upset and then calling this like the easy way out, which by the way, I think it gives the same energy as people saying that a C-section is the easy way out. No,
it's not. There's much trauma done to the body.
It's a surgery
where they remove all your insides and then rearrange them in a way that they've never been before.
And it's also similar to weight loss surgery, usually medically never going to be the first choice from like do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, it could be like,
unless there's an a emergency issue to get the baby out, it's not the first choice.
No, a doctor's not going into it with being like, this is my first line of defense, is this incredibly invasive surgery. It's not ever. So then to like view that of being like, okay, but I thought you said it was like so easy, but then you're upset because you think that they did this the quote unquote easy way. Fucking insane.
Yeah.
Someone else said, if anyone thinks this is a hot take, they're incredibly wrong. I don't know the girl you're talking about, but I couldn't agree with you more, Meghan. She was clearly unhappy with her body and had wanted to change, and she did. And that's her right. Her body, her choice applies here as well. I don't understand why skinny people gatekeep being skinny and get angry when someone joins their quote-unquote holy ranks. It's like they want other people to stay in the fat and funny sidekick role and then act like people lose their sense of humor and integrity when they lose weight, which is simply not true. Just let her be. If you want to champion for body positivity, how about you become one yourself? Great way to put it. Or also, even just pick someone who hasn't outwardly, adamantly, multiple times said, I am not body positive.
Yep.
And I also think it's inherently fat phobic to look at someone who is fat or bigger or whatever, a size that you as a thin person perceive to be quote unquote brave, and then assume they're body positive.
Very true.
Fucking weird. Someone said there are many people that should be supported that are actually body positive or neutral. Consumers of this type of content are probably just upset because they like laughing at fat people not liking themselves and are upset that there's one less person who provides that. And of course, this is the one person they no longer feel better than. Meghan is not wrong. As a plus size woman that followed Remy for the relatability, this has been hard. And I think that's like a very, like, again, not my place to like say how someone who's plus size, like how they feel about the situation. But like, those are all of the takes I have seen from plus size people of being like, oh, I found this person relatable, not because they told me that I should find them relatable, but like just how like in general, you find people that you like that you find relatable. And like thin people who talk about this as if like, oh, well, you know, now there's no like, now people don't have anyone to like look up to. There's no one who's relatable to them anymore. I'm like, there are plus size people who didn't relate to her because they didn't like her. Like, there's so much more than just your body type. It can be so many different things. But then like in general, there's always an ebb and flow of like people who lose relatability to you. And most often for her, the relatability that people are like, is that her content has shifted. And like, they're not a huge fan of the new content that she's like making, because before she was trying clothes in a size that they might have been, and then they were like, oh, I wanted to order this, and like now whatever, but it's like, oh, now someone else will make that content, and like that's, you can find someone to fill that spot. But like the idea that like thin people have that like they think that plus size people are upset because they think that she should continue to exist and everyone should stay at the exact same body size so you can like relate to them is like such a weird diluted thing, because I'm like, thin people, you don't relate to every person who's also thin. Like, right. It's just not so like cut and dry. That's it.
Mine is, Melissa says, normalize talking shit about your workplace and the people you work with. 5% said I was wrong. 95% said I was not wrong. Someone said Rachel Zegler is going to be in an Elvira revival. Talent cannot be denied. Interesting. Are you familiar with Elvira?
The goth baddie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I know about her. Like, she's just like hot and goth.
I mean, she knew what her niche was and really dug. She might be one of the first influencers.
She like invented Halloween. Like she did. She invented like being hot and spooky.
Yes.
She invented like slutty spooky adjacent.
Yes.
Like,
and then like she knows her niche. That's not who she is in real life, even though people think that's like who she is. And
oh my God, that's not even her name. It's a character.
Yes. And she would have like specials and be like just hosting things as Elvira. Like one of the first truly influencers there was.
No, I love that. I always think that Dita Von Teese is an influencer, and so I think that this is the same kind of cam. Dita Von Teese said, "I'm bringing Betty Boop to the real life. Right. I'm bringing it to 3-dimensional."
Someone else said, "I'm really done with all the slander of her. She truly is so kind and talented, and Disney honestly set her up for failure with Snow White. People act like actors don't sign contracts as if they have a real say in how production goes. But as we know, Disney adults are some of the worst kind of people when it comes to BS like this, and that's half of the reason she is under scrutiny. I don't even think it's mostly Disney adults. I think it's a lot of MAGA people that need somebody to beat up on.
Well, I saw an interesting take about how people are saying it feels like they intentionally, like rage marketing of like the same thing with like letting Halle Bailey like just be under like absolute like racist high like horrible shit from people, and those it still inflates the numbers because like people talk about it like, and like you have like the people still see like all, and you have people who are like now wanting to make sure they support it because they've seen all of this vitriol online that they wouldn't have necessarily gone to the theater to buy a ticket then. But then also people who like hate it to a level where they want to prove how bad it actually is, so they go see it. And people are saying like it feels like that same playing out in the same kind of a way where it's like setting up your lead or your star, like this whole idea that like Disney has no idea that they're like, oh, we're like flipping this on its head. We're like, you know, Snow White gets rights in this movie. Like she gets all of it. And then it's like, oh my God, I can't believe Rachel Zegler did that. I'm like, she didn't walk into the office. She didn't walk into the head of Disney's office and said, hey, I want to make history. You don't know that. Do you know that reference?
Yes, I do.
Thank God. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Do you know who that interview is to?
I did know at one point.
Lisa, who Lily wrote at Clever, which is literally anytime I see like a classic interview like that, I'm like, I promise you, like Lisa or Jocelyn is on the other side of that. I'm like, iconic. Obsessed.
Another person's, Gail, because Gail said that we could use their name whenever they write in. Gail said, if Rachel Zegler has 0 fans, I'm dead. I've gone head to head with people in my life to defend her. It's not even necessarily about her as an individual. It's what the subtext is when someone talks shit about her. Her only crime is being a fallible human being and checks notes condemning genocide. Melissa is not wrong. And also, my workplace can eat shit. Great.
Yeah. I did see a lot of people who talked about this being like, turns out the worst thing that you can be as a woman is like slightly annoying. And it's like you said it in the original episode. It's like Jennifer Lawrence went through it. So did Anne Hathaway, like all of these things. And I think we're, at least a sect of us are becoming more privy to noticing that.
Yeah. Another person said, I will always be the first to talk shit about my previous job, LMAO. My current job within confidentiality guidelines for now. Another person said, work is not wrong and RZ is not wrong. But to those listening, please don't go talking shit about work at work to the point where you get yourself fired. No shade.
No.
But I said when I did this, I gave the caveat. I said, if you're in the position to do so.
But everyone knows.
But I said
if you listened. Yeah.
Immediately, it was part of it.
And also, this is the same reason why you hear people talk shit on people in in projects in their memoirs like years later. Like, it's a timing thing. She is a publicist, despite what some fucking idiots think. Like, she needs media training. No, she's incredibly media trained
and very strategic
because she's not breaking any of her contracts. She's not fucking over any of that stuff. And again,
I feel like since people learned what media training is, they just like to throw it out there.
Well, that and the fact that people have the term morality clause, and I'm like, you bitches don't know what the fuck that means, and also that like you think that that's like a blanket thing in everything. It is quite literally not. And usually what a morality clause is if you get arrested and you have to go to jail during production, they don't have to pay you.
Yep.
It's not like, oh, you're accused of something. No, if you get in legal trouble that's halts the production
that's
of
causing money. It's all about money at the end of the day.
Yes. They don't care about like, oh, we don't want to be associated with this. No. If you are unable to fulfill your contract because you are incarcerated, they can drop you from your contract. That's it.
And then someone said, but not with people who may know them.
No, I do think you should talk shit with people who do know people.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it's important. Unless the shit is not warranted. I'm a big fan of, like, if you're talking shit, it needs to be something you'd say to their face or something that you'd want to say to their face. Maybe you wouldn't do it, but you would want to. Has to be something you'd stand by.
Another person said, okay, finally, Rachel is so ridiculously talented, and it makes me so sad to see people completely ignore that and drag her for seemingly whatever she does. She has a right to voice her political opinions. I think it's admirable and refreshing to see a young celebrity talk about important issues instead of staying silent like the majority of Hollywood. And also, I'm just a big fan of talking shit about work colleagues that are incompetent. I do it all the time. Be better at your job if you want me to respect you. Yeah.
Facts. I love that. I also love that, like, she's one of the few, her and Scarlett Johansson, and it's a little bit easier for me to root for Rachel than ScarJo. But very few actors will actually get up there and say, hey, you need to pay people for fucking streaming royalties. And, like, she's, like, one of the few, like, I would say, like, working actors who made that talking point when we just had the strike.
Yep. Also, the person that said Elvira wrote back and said, oops, mit Evita. Very different, but I could see her playing Elvira too.
That's crazy because they could be, I'm like, I love it. Yeah. Like, I guess we're getting slutty and spooky. Now we're getting jazzy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, Evita's, didn't my girl Patty play her?
Which one? I believe so.
Did you see that fucking clip of her on TikTok when she was young? I knew she was. I've seen so much of her. Like, I've been a fan of her for a very long time. When I was a kid, I did used to get her confused with Patti LaBelle, and I was like, which one had? Yeah, it's the Patty.
A black woman and a white woman.
Taking my Melissa at that point, I didn't know what either of them looked like. They both had fantastic voices, and I said, someone has pie. Who's that? And
the pies are more recent. So you were a full adult when the pies came out.
No way.
Yes way.
Really?
Patti LaBelle, 2008.
Okay. So
you're not quite like.
I wasn't an adult.
You weren't an adult.
I didn't have a computer.
Old enough to know better.
No. Without a doubt, if you objectively plopped someone my age out into the real world. But, you know, I didn't have I don't think I had a laptop.
Okay.
You know, I had we didn't have cable. Okay. I wasn't, you know. But Evita. It's a musical. I know that. She's Argentinian. She's the Argentinian First Lady. Okay. Here's the thing. I'll take both. Whatever happened to a musical of Evita meets Elvira.
Or just like a biopic about Elvira would be so sick, and seeing her switch between the two characters. I believe Elvira's still with us, right?
She is, because she was talking about how Ariana Grande was a bitch.
Oh, yes. Her name is Cassandra Peterson.
Love that for her. Yeah, I have to say, if Rachel gets like any sort of like mentorship from Patti LuPone for this, if you bitches thought she was a bitch now, get fucking ready.
Yeah.
If you thought she had strong boundaries and strong opinions now, prepare yourself, because Patti LuPone is the Kathy Griffin of Broadway. Like, she quite literally, like, there are fucking interviews of her on like red carpets being like, well, what would Donald Trump if Donald Trump came to your performance? She goes, I wouldn't perform. I hope he dies. Like,
yes.
She is the Kathy Griffin, which, by the way, I can't believe that as a society, everybody did that to Kathy Griffin.
I can. I've always liked Kathy Griffin.
I have been obsessed with her since I watched her in, like, I was a fan in like middle school.
Yeah, I was watching her she was just on TV all the time. So I can believe, just because of the way that people react to women, I can believe it. But like, Jim Carrey was out here drawing cartoons in the same way that she was, and people loved him for it.
Yeah. Or just also like SNL, like,
or even Andy Cohen, what's his little friend's name?
Jeff Lewis?
No.
Vanderbilt. Anderson Cooper.
Yes. I was like, they're both in. And I know Anderson Cooper
is.
Yes, but he like threw her to the wolves.
Oh, sorry. I mean, he was hot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all. I didn't mean more.
Oh.
He's a Vanderbilt.
Yes. He threw her to the wolves when all that stuff went down. The New Year's Eve stuff. He didn't stay. And they were like best friends. And then he became friends with Andy. Someone else said, I do it all the time.
Love it.
TaxAct knows small business owners can sometimes use a little help with their taxes. That's why TaxAct has Expert Assist, a team of live tax experts ready to answer any questions you may have. Think of them as your own personal sidekick. Not like one of those funny talking animal sidekicks, more like the super smart nerding out on tax code and business casual attire sidekick, but just as helpful and lovable. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
BAIW presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
All right. I had to pause for a moment to go grab something from the door. And I want to...
Do a haul.
I don't want to do a haul because I'm hungry and do just want to eat. So we're going to finish this up. But I do want to try something.
Oh my God. Oh, look at you in your gluten-free plastic straw.
Yeah. This is from Moises because they hate pickles. And what I'm just shaking right now is a Popeye's a pickle lemonade.
Yeah, someone milked a pickle for this. Oh, it looks so good.
So on first taste...
Too sweet?
Has no. It's really not that sweet. Okay. It has that, like when you drink a really cold Gatorade, because it's probably like electrolytes from it. But then the pickle really comes through.
Ooh,
it's very delicious actually.
Because I was gonna say my instinct would have been a pickle limeade, but do you think the lemon is preferred?
I think they're doing lemonade because they already had it there.
Yeah, but you as also a culinary crafter similar to myself.
Yes.
Would you do you think a limeade would be a better experience?
I think they'd both be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both, it's real, like it does taste like that lemon Gatorade.
Yeah.
And then you get the pickle at the end.
Damn, that sounds good.
Yeah.
You know me, I was trying to make pickle lollipops last year. I love that. I think we should have more. Anytime there's like an icy related drink or dessert, like anything, I need us to incorporate savory flavors as well.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan, but I do love pickles, as we've talked about numerous times.
Yeah. I love that. I think if people can keep putting alcohol in their coffee, you should put pickles in our everyday.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have writer number 1. Are they wrong for dropping their friend for marrying a MAGA boy? 3% said the writer is wrong, and 97% said the writer is not wrong. Someone said, I wouldn't be surprised if the husband and his family were also plotting on trying to sway her opinion after getting married. And given that she's put up with him being loud and proud about his beliefs, buying and wearing a Blue Lives Matter hat doesn't exactly scream fair weather fan. She's probably more comfortable around Trumpies than the writer thought. Yeah. I had a friend who dated a guy who was like conservative, and I was like, why the fuck are you? And I think it was like pre-2016. And I was like, still like, literally, ew. Like, why would you do that? And she was like, yeah, no, like, you know, we have like several conversations about it. And I was like, he's ugly. He is not funny. He is short, and he's a conservative. Like, he sucks. And she was like willing to like look past all of that. And then when they like, he broke up with her, and he was like, I just, you know, I just really don't respect your political beliefs. And I thought that I'd be able to change them. And she had said to me that she thought she'd be able to change his. And I was like,
wow.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Also, in general, if you're a conservative, you're a man, you're not looking to be swayed. Like, you think that as a man, you're inherently more intelligent than a woman. So, like, you won't be able to sway him because he does not think you're intelligent. He doesn't think you have as much value. He'd be more likely to be swayed by another man than you.
And also, for some reason, conservative men love
because they think Republican women are ugly.
Yeah, they but they also like to fight, like, well, physically, but also
men
like,
also
they
love mean
love
women.
to spar.
Yep,
like verbally spar, and think that that's a turn on when they're just talking out the side of their neck, and you're actively trying to change their mind, and they're never going to change their mind.
They think it's hot to argue, and it's a formidable opponent, and they need a woman who's intelligent to do that.
Yep.
Someone else just said, I love this photo. Ha ha ha. I did wonder about this because, so like it is from it's like an Etsy account, and like it is like a fuck Donald Trump, like Etsy, all of it is like liberal stuff. I would have to assume that the only people who could wear this would be in places where like it is like deep MAGA. So like there are the red hats, because I'm telling you right now, if I saw you in this hat in Costco, I don't know that I'm gonna get close enough to see that these are different words. Like in like a very blue area, like just a red hat in general would elicit like red hat, white lettering. You'd be like, what?
I think you have to wear it in a blue area, because I think in a red area, you're going to get your ass beat.
I think you're going to get your...
I think this is the thing, though. I think a liberal will walk up on you and then they'll see it and laugh. Like if you're close enough to beat somebody's ass, then you can read. And one of us is reading.
And liberals can read.
Yes.
Good point, Melissa. Because I was like, I'm not letting them get out of here unscathed, but you're like, you're right. If I get close enough, I'm seeing what it says. But it does to me, it's like, I think it is very funny, but like, I just cannot imagine wearing it. And I'm like, no, because I can't, like, the way I would feel such a deep level of shame just like leaving the house in a red hat with white lettering, because if someone were to mistake me for that. Yeah. Someone else said, my oldest friend from elementary school, who feels more like a sister, married a Trump supporting family. They may be shifting, fingers crossed, praying emoji. But she's very firm about disagreeing with people, and although we have always been very different people, she does not like Trump herself. She's a kind person. If my friend were changing who they are to be with someone and moving so quickly, alarm bells would be going off no matter how they're changing. Agreed with y'all that it seems like she never felt as strongly or clearly about politics as the writer anyways. And the friends that are meant to last stay trying to maintain a friendship and the friends that are meant to last stay trying to maintain a friendship with you even when they're in a new relationship. Yeah, I also think there's a difference between like marrying into Trump supporting family than marrying a Trump supporting husband. Because like there's a lot of people who vote like their parents conservatively, but don't hold strong beliefs about that. They're just kind of going along with it. And like, that's a deal breaker for me personally. But I do understand that like specifically people who are raised by conservative families and then they are now progressive, that they have more of they understand that perspective a bit more of someone, and they can tell when someone who is like maybe where they were like 5 years ago or whatever.
My thing is though, because he was like, they were like 28, right?
Yeah. So
he's voted.
Oh no,
at
this
least
man
twice.
But I'm talking about the person who wrote in their friends, because they're saying my friend's husband's family. So I'm like, if he doesn't agree with his family, or he's kind of like, yeah, no, you're not into that, then I think you can marry someone who has conservative parents if they themselves are not conservative.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Because
it might be harder depending on the color of your skin, but
yeah,
but
you shouldn't have to maintain a relationship, but like a marriage is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Because if you have kids, that person can take them. Someone else said, nah, it's the only right thing to do. I found out one of my work friends is the equivalent of a MAGA supporter in my country, and I dropped her so fast, which is not that easy when you work together, but what needs to be done needs to be done. After last year's election, I cleared out any influencers and friends who went full mask off. Drop, mute, block. Haven't regretted leaving those people behind since November 2024. Someone else, well, I won't read that. I haven't listened yet because I know that you hate those. This one's great. About to start this episode, but I don't even need to listen to know my answer. But I'm not voting yet because I respect the process.
Thank you so much. Listen.
Yep. Someone else said, Meghan and Melisa are so right. This quote-unquote friend never had any strong political opinions and is the biggest people pleaser. She's a goner, and that sucks, but at least now you know and can move on. At the end of the day, you always have to protect your peace. I have friends whose parents are unfortunately diehard Trump supporters and somehow love to smile in my face and say how much they love me. Mm-hmm. Because my friends are constantly speaking against what their parents say and advocating for everything their parents stand against is the only reason I still feel comfortable being around them and friends with them. You can't choose your parents, but you can choose who you marry. Thinking you can, quote-unquote, change someone's opinion in this political climate is honestly just naive when MAGA supporters go as hard as they do.
Yeah, Melanie had a friend that she was super close to the mom. And the mom was, like, posting all this MAGA stuff. And so Melanie sent her a private message. And this was the first time. Melanie sent her a private message and saying, like, how much that hurt her and stuff like that. And she was like, well, you know, I've never treated you any different. She's like, that's what hurts the most.
Yeah.
Is that you've been smiling in my face this whole time. And then you have these beliefs. Mm-hmm.
Well, and also that, like, when people are like, well, I wasn't thinking about you. And I'm like, yeah, why weren't you thinking about me? Mm-hmm. Like, this whole idea of being like, well, no, like, viewing someone as, like, the exception to this, like, massive bigoted statement to that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, but you have to understand that, like, not including me in that is also not factoring me in a positive way.
And that means you don't actually see me.
No, and you're not thinking about me. Nope. And, like, you don't actually have a care for me for anything other than just, like, pleasantries and face value. Mm-hmm. It's fucked. I will say, I don't disagree with, like, you know, you can't choose your parents. Because boy, oh boy, I do understand that one. But I do think if your parents are, like, absolute raging bigots and horrible, all of that kind of stuff, the only way that I think to maintain that relationship and not feed into it is by making saying something and correcting them and doing all that stuff and working towards that. But I think if, like, that one TikTok someone I remember, like, from, like, years ago, or someone's like, I just, like, code switch family to family when I'm with my conservatives. I was like, that's not what code switching is. You're calling someone illegals and then immigrants. That's not code switching. That's just assimilating into bigotry and then, like, letting them do that. Like, that's not the same thing. Because people like to use that argument, and I know this person's not, but some people like to use that argument for the girls from the Toast. They're like, you can't choose your parents. And I'm like, their mother is quite literally like a registered terrorist.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's the one who started the fucking Obama's papers shit. Like, and they share the opinions and beliefs. Like, it's not, you know, that's one I wouldn't pick. But I'd take the money and run. Okay, that's it for this one.
All right, writer number 2. Are they wrong for being sensitive about white people talking about their hair? Great picture.
Thank you.
6% said the writer is wrong. 94% said the writer is not wrong. We'll be looking closely at the 6%.
Yeah, me too. As soon as you said that, I was like, that's a little too high.
It is. Thinking about talking shit about coworkers, because I had mentioned people, like, paying $1 to wear jeans. And somebody said, talking about paying $1 to wear jeans on Friday triggered a memory. I went to Catholic high school, so we had uniforms. About once a month, we would be able to bring a toonie to wear.
Bring a Canadian Catholic school?
Right. Bring a toonie to wear civvies, so on Friday.
Wait, like civvy? Like civilian?
Like civilian clothes.
Wait. So, are you Canadian or British?
I don't know. Let's see.
A toonie and a civvy? That sounds like Toyota, like the cutesy names they use. A Honda, like a Civic or Honda.
Absolutely wild times. Fairly certain the money went to the Salvation Army or something.
Oh, Catholics love the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
I was listening to Chicks in the Office, and they were talking about how they would have, like, things you could win, which is like no uniform today pass. but like they called them nuts. Like you wanted, and like,
I get it. Yeah.
So one of them was saying this, and they were like talking about with like their other friend group, and they'd mentioned it, and they were like, "You called them like that's crazy." And she was like, "I never even thought about it." And she brings it up on the podcast, and her co-host Rhea also went to different school, like went to like a private Catholic school. And she was like, wait, yeah, we had nut days. Everybody's like, if you got a nut pass, you're like, oh my God, I got a nut today. Like, and she was like, I never put that together either. And all the rest of the people who were working on podcasts were like, you guys, that sounds crazy. And they were like, I wonder if they were like, never, not until our 30s ever registered.
And that's what happens when we get corrupted.
I know. Hey, but I have to say, to get that far through Catholic school without getting corrupted is high-key impressive. Yeah. They were like, I know about anal, but I don't know about nutting.
Like, I know about God's loophole.
Yes.
Nut.
Yeah, I know. What?
All right. Somebody said, not wrong, and this definitely is a microaggression, if not more. White people like this always feel the need to comment on everything that Black people do, and it's extremely annoying. Yep. Mm-hmm. Someone else said, chaotic advice, take that energy and give it back to them. I'm surprised you can see me at all for glasses wearers, or I hardly recognize you either with insert assistive device here. You definitely shouldn't have to deal with this, but if you can't quit and your boss won't take shit, make the old people feel bad. My problem with this is I don't think that they will feel bad. Like, they won't understand that you're saying it in a mean way. And then if they do understand, then you get fired.
Yeah. Or it's like, oh, look, you can dish it and you can take it. Like, to me, I do think there's times where like to stoop as low as someone. And it's usually when, you know, there's an equal sense of power or you hold a like sense of power, but like, you know, they need their money.
And then another person said, writer has to nip that in the bud before people start admitting to hate crimes to her, which I've heard happens a lot.
As someone who, you know, I had a family member who had Lewy body dementia, and like she, again, who knows? Maybe she was a racist when I was a child, and it didn't come up.
Pick up on it.
Yeah, and I was also like, by the time that I was like 11, 10. By the time that she started like really going through this. Everybody was prepared for it. Like it was like told that this was gonna at some point like gonna happen. And it's like, you know, it's the opposite usually of how the outcome is. But sometimes people have severe TBIs or head trauma or even like a stroke at a young age. They can turn into a totally different person. And specifically strokes can like make you from like, you can become a totally happy person. Like you can be like so much all of that, but specifically with like cognitive and mental decline disorders and like syndromes that are happening at the same time, like you become trapped in your own body, and like usually we become very hostile, and like people become violent who aren't normally violent. But then those are the people who like, you know, people can like look past or be like, you know, this is a part of it or whatever. But then you also just have like old people who just like say shit because they don't care anymore, and not because they are like they have a medical condition, not because like they are losing their whatever. They just have like not to bring him back up again, Robert Durst. Like you get to a certain fucking point that you want to be like, I made it this far. Look how far that like look what I fucking did, and it's just like no. No. And like, you know, the same thing happens with like, you know, inappropriate touching and all of this kind of stuff. And like a lot of people want to be like, oh, you know, they don't. Again, if you have a diagnosed something is going on, a lot of the fucking time, specifically white men, have been able to get away with shit for decades and decades and decades. And they realize when they're older, it's actually easier to get away with shit.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the creative work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit ServiceNow.com.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit Rocket.com. Rocket. Own the dream.
Now through April 14th at Sephora, everything you love is on sale.
I don't gotta choose, I'll take this and that.
That's right, everything. Save on your beauty faves at Sephora, now through April 14th.
I'll take this and that.
Find brands like Rare Beauty, Youth to the People, Day, Glossier, and more on sale. Shop at Sephora and Sephora at Kohl's today. Limitations apply. Must be a beauty insider. See terms at Sephora.com for complete details.
Oh, okay. Then we have my wrong of the week. Bachelor in Paradise. The Goldens are coming. Which, by the way, gives the Redcoats are coming, and I would not want to be associated.
It's weird.
It's really fucking weird, Melissa. I tried to tell Moss about this. He goes, yeah, I read about this already. And I was like,
I still haven't seen any, outside of you talking about it, I haven't seen anything.
No, they haven't done any promo photos because I'm going to tell you right now, no matter which side I'm on, I'm going, no, I'm not participating in a group. Like, Melissa, you don't even know what the intros of Bachelor in Paradise look like. Like, it's literally them, like, there'll be, like, funny ones or sexy ones, but, like, people, like, swimming in the water and, like, shaking their titty. Like, what are you going to have them do? Like, ugh. So 91% said the Bachelor's wrong. 9% said the Bachelor is not wrong. That 9%, you just enjoy the mess, don't you? Someone said, oh my God, I was so confused. I thought Bachelor in Paradise Golden was just the cast members from Golden Seasons. No, that would be fine. No, they want everyone to fraternize.
But they haven't, one of them hasn't even aired yet.
No, not at all. So they said, we want the oldies we know, and then we want some old people here who are strangers. Someone said, I don't even watch Bachelor, and I can understand how disgusting this is. Ew. LMAO, I watch the show and I am very curious to see how they do this. I really hope the age groups don't cross state. I actually think it would be best if they did a Golden Bachelor in Paradise separately. I'm probably the minority, but I think they deserve to be on the beach and it'd be fine to see them in bathing suits. Oh yeah, I have no issue with seeing them in bathing suits. I'm totally fine with that. I am not okay with the young women being subjected to the creepy old men, and I'm not okay with the older women being subjected to this granny role when they are maximum like 20 years fucking older than the women there. Like, it's just not fair. But Golden Bachelorette already aired. Oh, I didn't watch because I was mad about Jen's season, and I heard it was kind of boring because the lead was so normal. I'm pretty sure most of the women who are on the Golden Bachelor were over 50 though, FYI. Okay, well that's better that they're over 50, but let them like do that in Boca. Palm Beach.
Not Florida.
No, but where else do they retired to?
That's all I know.
Me too. Also, the only other ones I know is like the South. Here. Someone else said, please tell me that was an April Fool's joke. I want to throw up. You and me both. And the worst part is that like men don't grow out of thinking that like young hot women should be attracted to them. So I am just like already icked out at like how these men are going to carry themselves, how these grandpas are going to be carrying themselves on the beach. And unfortunately, young men also like, they're not creeped out by it because they know they're going to do the same thing. So they're going to be like, I know she's hot, isn't she? And I'm like, no, I don't want you fucking broing out with Grandpa Joe about this. Speaking of, Cammy met
I just saw the back of his head.
And I said, like, I know that wispy hair anywhere.
First, I didn't know it was her posting it. And I just saw the back of his head. And I was like, what is this? What's Joe up to? And then I realized it was Cammy. I was like,
I think Cammy even commented saying her dad has seen him like a bunch of fucking times.
I'm sure because, I mean, Jill's still teaching. She's also like 20 years younger than him. So, yeah, I'm sure he's back and forth on that train.
He looks so like carefree and happy. And I'm like, come back. Give them their own beach. This is so horrifying. I fear I might be one of those things where I have to look to know what happens and I can't look away. Whoever thought of this, though, needs to be fired. I think whoever thought of this, like, was joking. Like, there's
I do too. I feel like it was a joke.
Yes.
And then
someone took it seriously.
Too far.
And they were like, oh my God, I really fully, this is something that would happen to Mary. Like, Mary would make a fucking joke in the meeting and some oldie corporate would be a great idea. And then they say, oh, ha, ha, and then thinks they're joking. And then suddenly 6 months down the line and you're in pre-production, you go, holy shit, I can't believe this is actually happening. Please don't have a cheers at the start of the first day to say thank you for this wonderful idea.
Yep.
It's just, Someone said, I didn't know the Golden Bachelor was even a thing. This sounds like a recipe for disaster. Also, I'm pretty sure the first Golden Bachelor, him and his girl broke up because I think she said he was like texting other bitches, which I was like, it doesn't end. It never ends.
It was pretty quick too.
Yeah, and he like his whole thing was like being like a widower who had like yet to move on, and I was like, okay,
that's not who you get on.
No, and also like I think it's romantic and sweet that we think those men are the majority. They're fucking not. Like most men divorce their women, like their wives when they have cancer, and they like immediately move on. Yep. Someone else said, this made me want to vom. The only way that I will accept this is if they turn it into some kind of Bachelor Survivor situation on a beach and everybody's in wetsuits. Unfortunately, I can't support that either because the oldies, I don't want them participating in Survivor.
No.
I just put them on a separate beach. I'm so sorry, but I like my reality television messy. I am so excited for this.
Well, report back and let us know how it is because I'm not giving them a rating.
No.
Or I'll just watch it on TikTok. That's what I'll do.
That's my plan too.
Yeah.
Because I gots to know. I gots to know how this is going down. And like the way that like, if I had already packed, the way I would be in like, if I was any of those brands who was like sending all those girls like swimwear, I would be like, we need a rush order of sarongs immediately. We need cover-ups, stat. Like, I feel like we're taking, and also I just wonder what they're going to do with the black box because they now put like a black box over your butt if like your bathing suit's like a little cheeky.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've done it on the boobs too, but like, I'm not sure. And I wonder if they're going to do the same thing with the older people.
Yeah.
I guess this is going to help ratings, which is their goal.
Anyway, is that everything?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then my wrong of the week was Dr. Gerhard Koenig. 98% said that Koenig's wrong. 2% said that he's not wrong. Gonna add this story to counter whenever my mom and relatives say I should marry a doctor or any man in the medical field. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Another person said, I'm glad she survived, even more glad he can't practice anymore, and I hope she gets everything in the divorce. Yeah, she's already voted.
Yep.
Get everything. Get everything. And that's it.
Have you seen the update?
That's the end. Thank you so much for joining us.
We hope you all enjoyed. Have a wonderful time in the rest of your day. And don't forget to participate in the episode that just came out of the podcast. Vote who you think was wrong. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and TikTok. We are active on TikTok thanks to Melissa now.
We're going to have some fun stuff coming.
We are.
We've made plans.
We have.
All right. We will see you next Tuesday.
Bye. This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Have you ever heard about the 19th century French actress with so many lovers that they formed a lovers' union? Or what about the Aboriginal Australian bandit who faked going into labor just to escape the police, which she did escape from them. It was a great plan. How about the French queen who murdered her rival with poison gloves? I'm Ann Foster, host of the feminist women's history comedy podcast, Vulgar History. Every week I share the saga of a woman from history whose story you probably didn't already know, and you will never forget after you hear it. Sometimes we re-examine well-known people like Cleopatra or Pocahontas, sharing the truth behind their legends. Sometimes we look at the scandalous women you'll never find in a history textbook. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts. And if you're curious, the people I was talking about before, the Australian woman is named Marianne Bugg, and the French actress was named Rochelle, no last name, just Rochelle. And the queen who poisoned her rival is Catherine de Medici. I have episodes about all of them.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
What's up, fellow TV watchers? It's Brian from The Core Podcast, where we cover all things Apple TV+. We are wrapping up our recaps of Emmy favorite Severance, but 2025 on Apple TV Plus is just getting started. In April and May, The Core is recapping Seth Rogen's new Hollywood satire, The Studio, and Jon Hamm's dark comedy, Your Friends and Neighbors. We'll also be recapping the first 2 seasons of Apple's sci-fi thriller, Foundation, heading into the 3rd season of that later this year. Search for The Core, all things Apple TV Plus, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.